Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a digital shield, one built to defend a whole nation's food supply from threats you can't even see. It's called the National Animal Health Information System, or NAHIS, and it's a really powerful look at how Nepal is using data to protect its animals, its economy, and yeah, its people.
So let's start with a really big question. How do you stop an outbreak you can't even see? I mean, think about it. When a disease can spread silently from one remote farm to another, how can anyone possibly get ahead of that threat? This is the exact problem that Nepal set out to solve.
To really get why a system like NAHIS was so critical, we first have to understand what was happening on the ground in Nepal. The country wasn't just dealing with a silent threat to its livestock, it was also going through a massive, fundamental shift in its own government.
Back in 2018, Nepal was facing what you could call a perfect storm. The country was shifting to a brand new federal system, which created all these new layers of government. At the same time, it was clear there just weren't enough people on the ground to report diseases, and there was no single unified system to connect them anyway. Information was scattered all over the place, and an outbreak could easily move faster than the data.
But here's the thing. The idea of building a national defense against animal disease, it's not new at all. This journey didn't just start with modern computers and servers. It actually began decades ago, and it was built on persistence and the slow, steady realization that a better system was absolutely necessary.
And you can really see that long road take shape over time. The first real reporting efforts started way back in the 1960s. By the 80s, the idea of a central database was starting to take hold. Things got more official in '96, and that led to creating the Veterinary Epidemiologist Center, or VEC, in 2004. And then, with the government's big federal shift in 2018, the VEC was merged into the Department of Livestock Services, finally setting the stage for a truly unified approach. So all of that history, all that necessity, it all culminated in a modern digital breakthrough, a single unified system that was designed for this new era in Nepal's governance.
And this is NAHIS. At its heart, it was built to be the single source of truth for animal health. It's a centralized platform designed to finally pull all those scattered pieces of information together, so officials could collect, verify, and actually analyze data from every single corner of the nation.
And let's be clear, this wasn't some small side project. The development of NAHIS was a major national initiative. It was funded directly by the Nepal government's own budget, developed with the tech firm IT Hive Solutions, and it was seriously tested and piloted before it ever went live. And to keep everything safe and stable, it's all hosted on official government servers.
So how does this all actually work? How does information travel through this, digital nervous system? Let's follow the data, from a single report at a remote clinic all the way to the central database where that national picture really starts to take shape.
Okay, so the whole process is built on a foundation of verification. It starts at the local level, right, where vets and technicians enter their daily cases or maybe a suspected outbreak. But that data doesn't go anywhere until a designated official verifies it. They're like a gatekeeper for accuracy. And for the really serious diseases, the ones I call notifiable, there's an even higher bar, mandatory confirmation from a vet lab. It's only after all those checks that the data finally gets registered in this central system. That way, you know what national officials are seeing is reliable.
You can almost think of the system as having a two-track mind. On one hand, it's constantly collecting all that routine data. The daily cases that tell you what's normal and help you spot slow-moving trends. But on the other hand, it's totally primed to handle urgent alerts for serious diseases, which get fast-tracked with that mandatory lab check to trigger an immediate response. It's pretty smart.
But, collecting data is only half the battle. The real power of NHIS is how it turns all those individual data points into that protective shield we were talking about, how it transforms insight directly into action.
And here's how it does that. NAHIS takes all those raw numbers and turns them into these incredibly powerful visual tools. We're talking real-time maps that can pinpoint emerging hotspots. It creates charts to track trends, and it automates standardized reports, making sure everyone from local officials to international partners is working with the exact same up-to-date information.
Ultimately, the entire system is designed to do one thing, and one thing only: shorten the gap between getting information and actually doing something about it. It's all about empowering smarter, faster decisions to protect both animals and people. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. In a country like Nepal, where livestock is so vital to the economy, protecting animal health is the very first line of defense. It's about protecting the livelihoods of countless farmers, and by doing that, you're helping ensure the well-being of the entire population.
This really leaves us with a final thought.
Nepal's NAHIS is just a powerful example of what a data-driven defense system can look like. It makes you wonder, right? In our increasingly connected world, what happens when every piece of data, from every clinic in every corner of the globe, becomes part of one giant collective shield?